Hello everyone, this is a network dialogue on guidance and standards for security by design. This is a very special event and I'm very happy to welcome you to this one because it is about the sister project. So we are 5 projects under the same call funded by the European Commission, and today is the chance to really see what each of the projects has done and to find synergies, to learn from each other, and I think this is going to be a very interesting 2 hours for everyone. Just some house rules before we start. So please ensure that you're muted during the webinar. Also, you can better ensure your camera is off so you have the best connection possible. You can use the chat box for questions, and we will use Slido for interaction. So if this is the first time that you're joining our webinars or the first time you're using Slido, we're going to have some warm-up questions after my short introduction welcome speech, so you can have a look. But if you want, you can already go online on sli.do or slido.com and have a look. This will be recorded. So if you don't want to be seen again, just ensure your camera is off. About the agenda of today, so I'm Veronika Schröpfer. I'm the head of EU research projects at the Architects Council of Europe. And this is my short welcome message to you. Then I will hand over to Kaashif Awan, who will speak of the SOAR project, where the Architects Council of Europe was also a partner in, or is still, is going to finish at the end of March. And then we're going to have Staniforth speaking about the Protector project. Then we're going to have Melina Breitegger speaking about the SHIELD project. And then Marcin Podogrocki, I'm sorry if I pronounce any of the names not correctly, speaking about the Prosperous project. And then Panayiota Constanti speaking about the PROSECUW project. Then we're going to have an interactive session with the audience just to get a bit of grip. What did you get out of these presentations? Where are you coming from? What do you want? What are your questions? You know, and then we are very delighted to have Koralia Kontou from the European Commission, our project officer of our projects, there to do some final remarks, and then we're going to end this webinar in about 2 hours of time. A few words about the Architects Council of Europe. So we are the European umbrella organization representing the interests of all European architects towards the EU institutions. So we're around about 600,000 architects at the moment, well, between 560 and 600,000 at the moment from 30 countries. What we do is a lot of policy-related activities. So we try to be the single voice of architects towards the EU institutions. We work on educational standards, professional standards as well, very much on mobility as well. So if you're an architect and you're registered in one country and you want to work in another country and so on, we advocate for architectural quality and sustainability of the built environment. Yeah, so we do a lot of policy work. But we are also in European funded projects because it's important for architects to be involved in this cutting edge research and to really have a say on these issues. And in the SOAR project, we are there to look at the security by design angle. So really, how can we get away from ugly boards and have like nice urban design, urban fabric? Like how far can an architect actually make a place safe without it looking like a fortress or something? So this is a bit our role in this project. And yeah, this is about today's event. So I'm really excited about this event. This is really something that the last 2 months, Gloria and me were working on. And so I hope it's going to be a very fruitful afternoon. We're going to have some other upcoming events. So the Architects Council of Europe is also conducting a best practice architectural examples competition. So we're going to present some of them on the 14th of November. It's also online. We have an event in Brussels, which is focusing on digitalization of building data and cybersecurity of places of worship. And then we're, just to be confirmed, We're going to have an event in Copenhagen in December on how to fund a security renovation for a place of worship. And then we have the big final conference on the 9th of January in Brussels. Yeah, so this is a bit about the 14th of November, the online event. So if you like to join us there as well and learn a little bit about great architectural examples, you're very welcome. So we had this call for best practice examples and worked very hard on this for the last year, and with a very, very amazing jury of architects from all over Europe. So we're gonna have now a booklet published at the end of November, and we have this webinar, and then we're also going to have an exhibition of 9 of the projects in our final conference in January. Just some spoilers, what architecture can do for security by design. Yeah, and then on the 29th of November is an event in Brussels. So if you happen to be in Brussels, then we would very much welcome you there as well, which is going to be on digitalization of building data and the cybersecurity of places of worship. And yeah, so I think, yeah, so this was basically me with the short introduction, and we're going to have a quick interactive poll now, just basically, so you are on Slido for later on, and you can already use it a little bit. So if you just go to the website Slido, so sli.do or slido.com works as well, and you put in the code #SBD, or you just scan this QR code here in the top left corner. And the first question is very simple. It's just, where are you based? So usually the first question takes a bit longer because everybody has to join Slido first and find the question and so on. Okay, somebody's from London, Dublin. Antwerp, Brussels. It's always the moment where I think I should join as well. And the big London, Berlin, Vienna. So I see we are 21 participants in the call, but so far only 5, 6 have voted. 8. Tony, somebody put in the code and as an answer. Nicosia, wow. Good. But we have a big Brussels audience, it seems. Budapest. Okay, so 13 of the 21 answered, and we're going to move to the next question. What is your professional profile? Just to know a little bit better, who is the audience of today? So you can be an architect and designer, EU representative, law enforcement collaborator, faith leader. Oh, I really like Slido, this active poll system. Okay, there's a lot of other. I don't know if you want to write in the chat, what's the other? More faith leader, which is of course brilliant, because I mean, you are the main audience that we're doing this for. Okay, then move to the next. Which of the projects are you familiar with? So are you coming from one of the specific projects, or you know one of them, you received the newsletter or something, and this is what brought you here today? Okay, great. At least nobody says none of the above. So at least everybody knows something about what we are doing here. That's great. Okay, so then I would say I thank you for your attention to the welcome note, and I hand over to Kaashif, who is going to present the SOAR project and the achievements so far.
Thank you, Veronika, for the introduction to the call, and hello to all the other representatives from the sister projects. It's nice to meet you. As Veronika mentioned, my name's Kaashif, so I'm a co-director at Enhancing Faith Institutions, and we're the lead coordinators of the SOAR project, working obviously very closely with Veronika and her team at the Architects Council of Europe, and also Finchurch Aid, who are the other partners on the project. So I'm just presenting today, very much focused. It's a bit of a long presentation, but I'll go through it as quickly as possible. Focused, obviously, this whole activity is focused around kind of standards and guidance related to security by design. Obviously, we're interested to hear about what the work the other projects are doing and what feedback, guidance, and standards that they have incorporated or found or are working towards in their work under the same ISF funded call. So my presentation is going to focus mainly on the feedback and the work that we've been doing on security by design and risk assessments, and how we have communicated that with our networks of faith communities and some of the lessons learned and takeaways from our work. So just to provide a bit of a background information, these are the 7 pilot countries we have been working with since 2021. We are active and have been delivering various trainings and engagements within these countries across the interfaith aspect of places of worship and communities so far. These are obviously just some of the quick strategic ambitions of the SOAR project, to empower communities to be and feel safe in places of worship, bringing communities together and help decision makers make the correct choices to improve safety, feeding back what we have learned and gathered from our engagements with communities on the ground. This again just provides just a quick overview from a community perspective on how we have approached and engaged trainings of our work. In each one of our countries, the pilot countries you've seen, we have a group of community development officers who are working on the ground with the faith communities, providing trainings, engagement, and supporting institutions, large institutions, medium and small, across the faith spectrum. So this is the process and the synergy of work that we've been incorporating to ensure that we are engaging the right audiences and ensuring that we can deliver across the 7 countries, which we have been doing so far. These just are few of the training programs that we have been delivering. Obviously, this activity is related to kind of our work on security by design, but we've also been delivering various aspects of national engagements, protected security training, women and youth, and policy roundtables, which is linked to a report that we launched early in 2022 around the measures and sensitivities and feedbacks from the communities that what they think and how they feel around their own safety in their places of worship and amongst the communities. So going to the main part of this presentation, which is around security by design, which is a key aspect of this project, and it's the key aspect of standards that we've tried to develop and provide. Security by design is a very new concept to the communities that we're working with, the faith communities, the places of worship. So what we've been doing is that to educate and alert the communities that we're working with, the institutions, about security by design. We have, as Veronika mentioned, a group of architects that have been heavily engaged throughout the SOAR project to accompany us on our trainings to provide sessions and information about what SBD is, how they can incorporate it at different levels, and we've delivered various online sessions as well on different topics of security by design, from perimeter security to heritage sites and so on. And this just provides those who are not familiar with security by design some of the key aspects that are key shifters around SPD. So the engineers, the security advisors, the technology at play, the urban planners, and the architects. There's a lot of technical aspects that go into SPD, and the work that we've been doing with our places of worship to improve the understanding, awareness, and hopefully implementation of SPD to keep the institutions more safe. These different aspects that you can see are who we've been working with and sharing information on in regards to security by design. So the concept of sharing standards, which this activity and this call is all about. We know from our friends at the EU that they are working on a paper around the set standards of security by design for public spaces. So what we've been trying to do in the meantime of our work so far on the SOAR project is provide detailed scoping papers, which focuses on the technical standards mainly from manufacturer perspective of how places of worship can incorporate security by design into their institutions. So you see from these scoping papers here, we've done one on visual deterrence, which is around CCTV, surveillance, and signage, and the important role that these visual deterrents can play in improving the security of your place of worship, how you can implement these at different levels, implementing security by design for existing buildings and heritage sites. This again goes into provide standards on how, if your place of worship is a heritage site in which you can't make wholesale changes to from a building development perspective, how you can incorporate security by design within the building that you have. And within this scoping paper, we had an event in Amsterdam in which we visited a heritage site, which was a synagogue, and showcased to the faith leaders and community members at the event that how that institution has incorporated SPD and taking some of the learnings from that they can potentially implement as well. Gates, doors, and windows, another key aspect of SPD that we've been looking at from a redevelopment access perspective, and how having the right level of security in regards to the gates and doors and windows is an important aspect of protecting your place of worship. And outer area protection, which focuses more on the perimeter security aspect of things, which is quite a large technical aspect of SPD around bollards, gates, and we are going to be releasing the latest scoping paper in the next week, which is focused on perimeter security again, but how you can incorporate from an environmental perspective key aspects of bollards, plant pots, trees, and how these are an effective deterrent for any potential attack, and keeping obviously your institution safe, but also from an environment perspective as well, making the institution more eco-friendly. So these obviously are key resources, these scoping papers, which are kind of legacy documents for the SOAR project in regards to SPD and how we will, and the work that we've been done to develop some sort of standard and guidance on security by design that can be used for institutions and referenced throughout the SOAR project, but also beyond. And these are obviously supported by some of the key other documents that we've produced in different languages, which are very much the incident management guides, which we've produced so far for synagogues, mosques, and churches, which obviously these are infographics that we've developed internally, which visualize the importance of SPD and how your institution can incorporate a lot of the technical standards that we have discussed in our work of the SOAR project so far in relation to this topic. These are just some of the generic newsletters as well that we release every single month. So this month will be our 15th newsletter, which are quite detailed activity updates on the work that we've been doing, the training that we've been delivering, our engagements, our documents, reports that we've been producing throughout the SOAR project, and these are accessible on the website currently under the newsletter section as well. If you would like to have a look and see the progress and the work that we've developed over the last year and a half of the project, you can check that out in the chat section. I think the link's just been shared as well. Risk assessments are another key aspect of kind of standards and guidance that we have been producing and developing with our faith communities and places of worship. And risk assessments are a key part of security by design. Before, again, any implementation of SBD is done on a place of worship, the key learning and information that we are sharing with institutions is that they must obviously conduct a risk assessment. Currently in the SOAR project, we've conducted over 40 risk assessments across the 7 countries with different faith communities, highlighting areas of potential risk, improvement, and we are working with these institutions to track the progress of implementation of the recommendations that we are providing. And within these recommendations, we are obviously signposting to key aspects of SBD, as I mentioned, in terms of the gates, doors, perimeter security, if it's a heritage site. So these risk assessments have been very impactful. And this work is obviously a key part of the legacy of the SOAR project, because hopefully these 40 to 50 institutions that we will be developing, that we've been visiting to develop risk assessments and improvements on, will be able to implement those changes within this project cycle. So for the communities that attend these institutions moving forward, they'll be a lot more safe and secure moving forward from any potential risks or harms. Touching back on the security by design aspect, this was the jury, as Veronika mentioned, who have been working to select some of the best 9 to 10 projects who have implemented SBD for places of worship. Which was mentioned that we've got a call on with some of the projects that have been shortlisted, I think on the 14th of November. And this jury event, I think there was a few members who were missing and joined online at the time, but this jury event took place in Brussels in August, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, a lot of time's flown by quite quickly. So this is a key part of our work on security by design, having experts, architects, experts, gather around the table and provide their insights from a technical perspective around assessing the projects that we have done in terms of the competition for SBDs, for implementing SBD in places of worship. But also this jury group have also guided and provided technical insight into our work and engagement with places of worship throughout the SOAR project. This is just some quick key highlights from a lot of the trainings that we've developed. We've trained obviously close to 750 to 800 people from across the seven pilot countries, different communities, different places of worship. These are training programs, national engagements that we've developed, and a key part of all of these trainings is a session on security by design, in which we evaluated the impact and the increased awareness of faith communities on the understanding of SBD and understanding how they can implement the changes to their institutions to ensure that their communities and congregations are a lot safer when they attend for worship or events. Again, some of the other, just some more pictures again from the trainings that we've developed. And a key part of these trainings as well is engaging the law enforcement. So at most of these trainings, we have key speakers from the local law enforcement, architects, faith communities as well. So having this dialogue and engagement of all the key sectors, we found through our evaluation gathering so far of the trainings we've delivered, that we can see the impact and increased learning by bringing together these different actors from the key positions that all have responsibility and interest in ensuring that institutions are more secure and safe moving forward. Yeah, again, just some more pictures from the trainings. And these are another key aspect I mentioned around communication and campaign. So all of our work in terms of the campaigns and communications is focused on increasing awareness and guidance related to security by design, and alerting institutional managers to the risks that currently exist and how they can counter them. So obviously all this is towards obviously developing providing our own kind of insight into standards and best practice. So obviously the word best practice we use quite a lot I've used quite a lot in the SOAR project in relation to security, and these have been done through incident management guides and also these infographic videos as well, and these SBD videos which provide a bit more information from a visual perspective on the importance of technical guidance for places of worship. So this is just a quick video. I won't play the whole video, but just gives you an insight into the type of best practice that we have looked to implement and share in the SOAR project to the key communities related to security by design and the technical standards of security. So obviously these videos kind of highlight the key tips. So there's 20 best tips that we have implemented from the SOAR project, from a standards perspective and best practice perspective, touching on all aspects of the institution, from CCTV to operational security systems, from security guards to, again, communication online, emergency exit, entrance and exit points, perimeter security, door policies. So we've gone through these 20 tips, again, with the input from experts that we have put together to share with the different communities, tailored to different communities. As you've seen, we've got guidance and information for Jewish communities, Muslim communities, Christian communities, because obviously through our engagement with our networks, you understand that different communities are face different risks. So we've tailored our communication and best practice to the different communities that we're working with and institutions as well. So these are videos that we've shared on social media, in which we've so far amassed over 2 million impressions online through these videos. And also these are, as mentioned, have been produced in the incident management guides as well. So these are just the 20 tips. I think it's 20 tips, yeah, for these communication campaigns that we have successfully been producing on the SOAR project.
Jasně, jak jsme se domluvili minule na návštěvě, tak tento týden kromě středy čtvrtka a celý příští týden budu tady. Tak kdyby vám to vyšlo se zastavit?
I think someone's just not on mute. Just to touch on, I know I've been speaking for quite a while, but just to touch on the dissemination of impact. So obviously the work that we've been developing now for a year and a half on the SOAR project, what we've been doing is through our work and engagement, from sharing best practice to providing training to creating awareness about security by design, we've produced these key summary reports for the 7 countries. Also on the screen are the ones we've produced for Denmark, France and Germany, in which we are sharing and disseminating, and which highlights the impact of work that we've seen, and increased awareness and engagement on the ground amongst the members that we have been working to train and improve from an education perspective on SBD and the different areas of work of the project. So again, I know this Veronika made a good point at the beginning of this call around synergies and sharing about, and definitely obviously the SOAR project would obviously want to, up until March, up until the project, but even beyond, obviously, I think keep these projects alive through working and finding synergies of collaboration. We have been working quite closely with the UNAOC as part of this project. And they UNAOC obviously have got their For Safe Worship campaign, which is obviously very similar to the work that we're doing, and they most recently produced a set of documents for protecting vulnerable targets from terrorist attacks, urban centres, sites, and I think it's document 4, protecting religious sites from terrorist attacks. Within that document, they shared the work of the SOAR Project and the work that we have been doing in Europe in the 7 pilot countries in protecting places of worship. So finding these synergies and working towards this common goal of keeping at-risk sites safe and secure has had an impact, and this has been shared with in the most recent work of the United Nations in the work that they're doing on protecting public spaces from potential threats. And these are just some of the wider engagements that we've been delivering. And these was from 2021, attending the G20 summit, engagements in Munster, the Interfaith Forum, at that time, obviously promoting the work of the SOAR Project and increasing the engagements and networks that we had to make sure that the project, again, built these different synergy channels and partners to ensure that the work that we're doing was impactful as possible. And again, most recently, our team were invited to speak at the World Council of Churches Assembly in Germany, the largest gathering of churches and the Christian community in the world, in which our team in Germany, the CDOs, which I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, provided presentation of the work and the impact that we've had specifically in Germany, which has allowed us to then branch off and build more partnerships with this community group in Germany and beyond. And again, just some of the wider work and work that we've been doing and the link with the different interfaith communities of the SOAR Project. Yeah, and just as Veronika mentioned, we are delivering a various amount of training programs and engagements across Europe. So these are for those interested. These trainings are in person in these different cities, but also with a hybrid functionality. So if you are interested to learn more or potentially attend any of these trainings, if you head over to the events section of the SOAR website, you'll be able to see all the upcoming trainings that we are delivering up until December. So yeah, just a quick overview from my part from the SOAR project, focusing on, again, very much the work that we're doing on SPD, risk assessments, and creating these legacy documents and communication videos to ensure that institutions understand, have an awareness of what SPD is, how to implement it, and through our risk assessments, being able to manage the implementation. Because again, the goal of the SOAR project, as with the rest of the projects that are on this call, is to ensure communities and places of worship are as safe as possible. And by the end of the project, if we all can work and have been able to had an impact in reducing the threat level, I think then we've all had have all been very successful. So again, look forward to potentially working with you all, finding synergies up until March and also beyond this current ISF project cycle. But I think I've spoken for probably too long. So Veronika, thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Kaashif. Yes, we are sort of 10 minutes late already.
Apologies.
Yeah, but I think I also took a bit too long. So I have the pleasure to now hand over the floor to Andre Staniforth, the director of Saher Europe, and he will present the Protector project.
Hi, thank you, Veronika. I think yourself or your colleagues were going to share the screen for me, which is great. Thank you. Just while that's loading, thank you very much for your kind invitation to join your webinar today in what is a very important subject. Thank you for your kind introduction. Yes, I'm Andrew Staniforth, one of the directors of Saher Europe. We are a research and a training consultancy based in Estonia. And we are engaging in numerous research and innovation projects funded by the European Commission. This Protector project being funded by the Internal Security Fund for policing under the Protect banner. And what I'm going to cover today is have a look at initially the threat landscape through acts of terrorism and hate crime to places of worship, and then talk about the first phase of results of the Protector project, but specifically around guidance and advice that we have for law enforcement agencies and protective security professionals. And then I'll finish with where the project is now and what our next steps are. Next slide, please. So thank you. Terrorist attacks and incidents of hate crime at places of worship represents a serious security concern across the world, as we know, because extremists and terrorists that promulgate their hate and violent ideologies continue to commit crimes against places of worship with, despite the best efforts of law enforcement, with alarming regularity. Recent attacks on places of worship have revealed the exploitation of their intrinsic vulnerabilities that result from their open nature and of their public character. Threat assessments by Europol and those from the European Union Intelligence and Situation Centre confirm the focus of places of worship in Europe as a target selection, which is also openly incited in terrorist publications on the internet. Now, the rising tide of security threats to places of worship of all faiths calls for sustained action and support. And it is within this context and recognizing the protection of places of worship as being essential to national security and importantly to neighbourhood safety of all European Union member states, a unique multidisciplinary consortium of partners have joined forces under Protector to progress this particular project. Next slide, please. I'm delighted to inform you that on the Protector project, we have 4 law enforcement agencies. The Swedish Police Authority, the police in Antwerp in Belgium, the Garda, which is the police in Ireland, and also the local police in Trento of Italy. It was absolutely essential that for our project and for the way that we wanted to approach this particular challenge, that we engage with law enforcement agencies and users and had their operational insights to inform the key outputs of our project. Of course, we also have academic rigor that's provided by FBK in Italy, one of the leading Italian research institutes. We have the policy expertise provided by the European Institute based in Bulgaria, and to provide the training and policing leadership expertise, we have the policing department of the University of Public Services in Bavaria in Germany, who provide training courses and exercises for numerous different roles of ranks of law enforcement agency officers in Bavaria. Protector has 8 partners from 7 European member states, which brings forward a broad European dimension. I'm also delighted to tell you that the Protector project is supported by the G20 Interfaith Forum and also the United Nations Interregional Crime and Justice Research Institute, UNICRI. Next slide, please. So, just broadly, the first phase of the Protector project, which is a 24-month project, now in month 19, so we are coming towards the final phases, but the initial phases were focusing on the threat analysis and vulnerability assessment phase. And there really the aim was to gather law enforcement agency, public authority and places of worship leadership and congregations user requirements and best practices to inform the Protector system of protective measures, including the identification of vulnerabilities to places of worship through the analysis of case studies, strategies, preventative programs and communications. Next slide, please. During this threat analysis and vulnerability assessment stage, we have completed 6 key outputs. Those included a first responder use case analysis, a places of worship protective security analysis, places of worship hate crime and terrorism threat analysis, places of worship protect, prepare and prevent international strategy analysis, because it was important not just to look inwards within the European Union, but also look elsewhere, such as the UK, Australia, New Zealand, and the United States as an example of where terrorist attacks and hate crime incidents have occurred at places of worship. Then also to have a look at places of worship crisis communications analysis and a place of worship vulnerability analysis, which was the final phase of this project, taking all of those component parts in that research together and having a look at where the vulnerabilities lay in the protective security postures of places of worship. And what is interesting, what we found, next slide please, we produced a operational briefing that was published earlier this year that is available on the website and is also available via our LinkedIn account. I'll share those links with you during the course of the presentation. Is that the guidance and advice was collected together in an operational briefing. Now, to maximize the value of the protector findings in this first phase, the guidance was targeted towards our identified primary stakeholders of places of worship protective security, and they included law enforcement agencies, public authorities and security practitioners, protective security policymakers, and faith leaders, faith congregations and faith communities. And what I would like to share with you over the next few minutes is some of the findings and guidance that we uncovered for law enforcement agencies, public authorities and security practitioners. So part of the findings, we recognize that the function of places of worship as connecting a community of believers. So what we suggest to our law enforcement agency officers and staff is that places of worship and sites of religious significance must be recognized in their function of connecting a community of believers with the transcendent order and their own divinity and shared faith and values. Measures and procedures for protecting a given place of worship should therefore be shaped in accordance with its sacred character, social foundation and users. We also acknowledge that places of worship are sites of general citizen interest. And so in that context, we should therefore consider their social functions. Places of worship and sites of religious significance should be acknowledged by all in authority as places of general interest of citizens, and by protecting such places, the public interest is fulfilled and therefore preserved. We also say to our law enforcement agency practitioners that they should recognise the history and cultural heritage that places of worship represent. So places of worship and sites of religious significance, and by sites of religious significance, we are including such things as schools and museums that represent the history and cultural heritage of specific faith communities, which has a rich value for a whole nation and the fabric of society. And by protecting them, the local community is acknowledging the role of diversity as a cornerstone of and within their society. Now, in order to bring that to the fore to law enforcement agency, policymakers and planners, is that our operational protector briefing states that we should increase knowledge and awareness of religious diversity to law enforcement officers and staff, because urban spaces can be viewed as spatial laboratories in which multiple religious and faith communities take, maintain, seek and negotiate their own place in society. Law enforcement officers, public authority and security practitioners should increase their knowledge and awareness of religious diversity, including the different places of worship and sites of religious significance within their jurisdiction, to better calibrate and coordinate their approaches to delivering safety to all. And one of the other suggestions and recommendations that we made is that there needs to be an increased provision of relevant guidance to engage religious leaders and communities in the design of local measures and strategies of protection. And it's interesting that we see the SOAR project and their outputs already delivering on much of this. And what we've said is that in its territory, places of worship and sites of religious significance express specific conditions of vulnerability, but also special resources. Security practitioners should be provided with relevant guidance to engage religious leaders and faith communities in the design of local measures and strategies of public protection, security and safety, which includes the use of technological tools and indeed those architectural tools of security by design. And I'll leave you with one further recommendation, is that we've suggested to law enforcement agencies that they need to create practical cyber safety solutions for faith-based communities on how to protect the integrity of their community while delivering and observing rituals online. We know that during the COVID-19 pandemic that many of these services and rituals were conducted online so that people of faith could practice their faith, as they were not physically allowed to go to a physical place of worship. And that brought about its own cybersecurity challenges. So the internet is turning into a new field where religious communities are at risk of attack and abuse. Security practitioners should create cyber safety solutions for faith-based leaders, congregations and faith communities on how to protect the integrity and sanctity of their faith and values while conducting, contributing and observing rituals streamed online. As part of the operational briefing, we also provide a host of lots of other practical solutions which you'll be able to read and digest following this webinar. Next slide, please. And I'd like to just spend the next few moments, because I know that we have been a little short on time, just spend the last couple of minutes just explaining where Protector is now, because the Protector project really has been delivered in two halves. The first half really focused on the research, the vulnerability assessments, to get a really good sense of where we are now, to get that rich picture of information to say, this is the current sort of position and how do we go forward. So what we will be delivering is a security handbook. We will be delivering a crisis communications strategy for places of worship. But a major output of Protector is the Protector system, which is a technology surveillance monitoring system that is directly relevant and appropriate for the design of places of worship. We are currently testing and trialing that Protector system in a series of pilots. The first pilot is now currently being conducted in Trento, Italy, during December. The second pilot will be conducted in Antwerp by our law enforcement agency colleagues, the police in Antwerp, and the third and final pilot will take place in Sofia in Bulgaria, which has a unique location in Europe, having many dominations of faiths of churches, synagogues, mosques, and places of worship and of faith within a specific square in Sofia itself. So the final pilot will take there. So we'd like to share with our partners early next year the findings and the development of our surveillance monitoring system, which is the technical part of the Protector project. But that concludes my presentation today. Thank you very much again for your invitation and for listening. We'll put some details in the chat around where you can follow us on LinkedIn and our website. And we look forward to working with our sister project partners to continue our collaborations. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andre. I already noted down how we can find a synergy for our event at the end of November in Brussels on cybersecurity, when you mentioned your briefing on cyber safety. So maybe I catch up afterwards with you if you have a speaker on this or something like this. Yeah, so being aware of time, I immediately hand over to Melina Breitegger, who is a researcher and project manager at SYNYO GmbH, and she will represent the SHIELD project.
Thank you so much. I'll share my screen in a second. Okay. So first of all, thank you so much for your invitation to speak today. Already, the two presentations have been really interesting because in our project, we deal with the same issues, and we're a little bit earlier in our project cycle. So we're in month 10 of the project. So I think we can really build on your findings, and it will really help us also to continue our work in this field. So I'll present you the SHIELD project today, which is about solutions to enhance interfaith protection of places of worship from terrorist danger. The project is coordinated by SYNYO. We are a research company based in Vienna. And yeah, we started a project in January of this year. So we are in the first half of our project. We are a consortium of 18 participants in 10 different EU countries. And if I can show you a map, you can see that a very nice representation of countries in the European Union, and also experts with diverse backgrounds. So we have smart and medium enterprises, we have faith-based organizations in our team, researchers, security experts, police organizations. So we really try to combine expertise from the research field, from the security field, but also to get the really important perspective from the faith-based organizations as well. What are our main objectives? So as you know, the projects have similar objectives. We've also started with an analysis of previous terrorist attacks on places of worship to see when they happen, where they happen, and to conduct a risk assessment. We've identified critical points in places of worship to see more in detail where the vulnerabilities lie. And our aim is to find new approaches to protect places of worship, and also to use new technologies to do so. So what we want to do is also to use virtual reality and to do simulations of an attack, and to see and test if the measures for increased security can actually work. Another objective is also to increase the cooperation between private and public partners, between interfaith communities, not just within our project, but also beyond. So where are we now in our project? We've started with our research analysis and the risk assessment. One aspect that I would like to mention here is that we could see quite a difference in awareness of risks in different countries, which were also related to whether such attacks had taken place, or in the amount of violent attacks that had taken place in different communities. So in our assessment of 10 different countries in Europe, we could see quite a difference here. And now we're currently in the stage of analyzing what kind of security measures we could put in place and suggest, which include prevention measures, protection measures, and measures of reaction. One point that I wanted to raise that came up during our risk assessment was that we started to look at the structures, at the buildings in the beginning, but very soon we realized that we actually had to go beyond an analysis of the risk assessment and vulnerability assessment of a certain place of worship. But it was also really important to do an assessment of the environment, to see where is this religious building located, what are the social and conditions, what are the communities surrounding these buildings, and how does that impact the measures that we could suggest in the end. Yeah, so now we look at different ways to increase the security. In the next step, which we're a little bit far away still, we will test and validate our solutions. Where we'll have a partner that will provide us with a virtual reality simulations, a simulation which will be tested with users from law enforcement, but also faith-based communities. And then we will conduct a survey to see if these tools, these digital tools, can help to raise awareness, can raise the preparedness in case such an attack takes place, and whether that changed before the training and simulations were done. And so we will conduct surveys before and after. And finally, we have a lot of dissemination activities planned to share our results. There's a workshop coming up on the 1st of December that will take place in Rome. So I know some of you we have already reached out. So yes, that's our next big event that we are currently planning, and we're of course very happy to invite you and to get your input as well. This is just a quick overview to show you again where we are at the moment. So we're really focusing on security measures. What I haven't mentioned before, so we are also looking at Christianity, Judaism, and Islam as the three communities and the main places of worship that we will be addressing in our project. Yeah, so we're currently looking at different security measures, and in that regard, I'm sure we'll also look at the best practices that were produced in the SOAR project, which sound really interesting, especially regarding the security by design. Those are our social media channels and our project website. So please have a look, follow us on Twitter, have a look at our project website. Yeah, and that's it from me.
That was quick. Thank you very much. Maybe next time we have a SOAR event in Vienna, we can invite you and you'd like to come along.
That would be great.
So I hand over now to Marcin Podogrocki. I hope I pronounced this right, I'm sorry, who is a project manager at the University of Lodz. And he will present the PROSECUW project. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for introduction, and also thank you very much, colleagues from SOAR, for organizing this this event. As I think that this is a really important thing to share information about what is going on in our projects, because more or less the topic of them is quite close, and the main aim is also very close to increase the protection at the places of worship. So it would be really good to know what is developed in other projects, not to make the same things again, but to add something more to that and develop something different, but also important for the religious community. I will share the screen. Okay, so as Veronika introduced, I am a project coordinator of the project called PROSPERES, Protection System for Large Gatherings of People in Religious Sites. my institution is the University of Lodz, large public university, and at this university there is a unit responsible for actions towards assuring the security in public places. At the Faculty of Biology, there is a Center for Biohazard Prevention. So we are mostly involved in projects related to preventing, protecting, and responding to CBRN, chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear threats, and also combined with terrorist threats. So public places which already are tackled by our international projects are the large shopping centers, the sport facilities, and also as the Prosperous has mentioned, the places of worship. Now I'm going to show you the film. I hope it will work.
Protection system for large gatherings of people in religious sites. Sites are considered to be vulnerable to terrorist attacks due to their accessibility and limited security. In recent years, religious sites of different faiths were targeted by extremists. There is a growing concern about the security of such places, but a balance should be kept between security and preservation of the open nature of religious sites. The SOAR Project aims at increasing the level of protection in places of worship by forming a cooperation of scientists, security experts, and practitioners, public services, and faith-based institutions. SOAR covers prevention, protection, deterring and responding to various types of terrorist threats and incidents that may occur in religious places, including attacks with CBRN agents. The measures are composed of tailor-made templates, tools, recommendations of procedures and equipment, improvement in infrastructure according to security by design, and protocols of cooperation with public services. The implementation of the system is enhanced by modular training, including e-learning with VR and organizing large-scale exercises, as well as wide security awareness raising campaign to contribute to strengthening the safety of the faithful to worship in peace.
Okay, thank you. Is anyone could confirm if it was in good shape and we heard everything and the film was visible for you?
The sound was a bit difficult, but with the subtitle, it worked for me.
Okay, so more or less you now have an overview what about this project. So I would like just to underline that as I said, the main aim of the project is very similar to other projects from the same call. So it's to enhance the protection of places of worship against the terrorist threats. And in our project, we are putting a lot of efforts to select, to analyze, select, and adjust the security measures in the way that they would be not disturb the open nature of the religious sites. And at the moment, I would like to also underline that there is a growing concern about the security of public places and as well as religious sites, especially in Poland, as the situation in Ukraine is at this extent, but we could expect that something really bad could happen to public places, also because of this unforeseen in the past possibility, but it could be even a kind of state-based terrorism to happen in other countries like Poland, but other European countries as well. So we can see certainly, but there is a growing concern, and administrators of public places and also religious sites are looking for solutions that could be placed in the places to better protection of the people who are gathering in such places. So the main aims of the Prosperous are first of all to exchange good practice in security system. It is within the consortium, but also thanks to the common initiatives of our European projects, would be also good to share good practice among projects as well. So we are at the moment at the end of this phase when we make some conceptual, some research phase, checking what security systems are available, what measures are at the moment in that shape that would be applied in places of worship, and also made some vulnerability assessment, some needs and gaps analysis in the various religious sites, to start preparing the comprehensive set of tailor-made measures to be applied to a place of worship, which cover the whole cycle of the incident regarding this terrorist attack, and also what is important because of the basis of our university, our center, is to also focus on attacks with CBRN agents. After that phase, when all these tools, templates, procedures, recommendations are ready, we start the implementation of the system, mostly in the form of preparing the modular training, and also the training will include e-learning as well as some elements of virtual reality to be provided in the structures of faith-based institutions, but also can be used by law enforcement institutions responsible for protection of public places. Afterwards, there will be 2 large-scale exercises organized in cooperation between faith-based institutions, experts, security experts, and also first responders like police units, but also firefighters, medical staff. And important also is to carry out the EU-wide awareness campaign, which will be possible when we establish the selected set of measures. So just I would like to inform you that we are just in the middle of the project. We extend the duration for 6 months, and we close the phase of the research and analysis on the actual state of the security in places of worship, and also we start to preparing the tailor-made security measures as well as security measures for CBRN protection. And on this Wednesday, on 26th of October in The Hague, in the Netherlands, we are organizing the large validation event with representatives of faith-based organizations, as well as law enforcement and firefighters and other staff which are connected with assuring the security in places of worship, to present them our outcomes, ask for their feedback, and then we'll prepare it in the final version. And so you could expect that after November, some more information about the outcomes, about the results will be available, because we put a lot of work to prepare very carefully these measures, and internally within the consortium. And now we are going to pass to the phase where we are going to make it publicly available. So afterwards, as I said, there will be training programs, some training sessions, as well as validation by the large-scale exercises. So far, we elaborate the vulnerability assessment methodology based on EU vulnerability assessment checklist, as well as a report based on identified best practices, gaps analysis, and also identified needs of religious sites. As I said, we have a lot in common in our project. So in our project also we are preparing security design guidebook. At the moment, this is in the shape where this is covering the I must say the whole spectrum of the concept, plus a set of best practices identified in this way. And we are going to also start to preparing some shorter versions. And I must say that I'm very impressed with SOAR developments. This brochures designated for different phases of security by design. It's really nice, and probably we would like to prepare something in this form as well. And then a large comprehensive guide with procedures, tools, templates, recommendations for various people responsible for the protection. And again, at the moment, this is a large comprehensive book, and based on that, this is a source of knowledge, let's say. And based on that, we would like to make more simpler, more user-friendly materials in forms of infographics, in forms of brochures, short videos, to make it attractive for the users. And also, this guidebook is followed by the guideline regarding the CBRN threats, and also with some scenarios collection, and also some tool for risk assessment in this kind of accidents with elaborated reaction models. And afterwards, we make training curriculum, e-learning platform with VR simulations, and conduct training activities. Finally, I'd like to stress, which is our very important features of the project, is the consortium. I saw that the project Shield also has 18 partners, so we can, I think, share also some experiences in dealing with that such a large consortium, and I believe we can share some good practice and some advices how to manage it. It's not easy, I must say, but at the same time, this consortium gives us the opportunity to share expertise between the academic field, between experts, and also with practitioners like police units or firefighting services or crisis management services, as well as we have faith-based organizations within the consortium, represented by the Archdiocese of Lodz, a regional Catholic structure in Poland. We have Social Observatory Foundation from Poland, which is cooperating with Archdiocese of Wrocław. And we have also representative of Greek Orthodox Church by Holy Metropolis of Janina, and we have a Jewish community of Warsaw. So we can immediately get the feedback from these three communities about our developments. So that's it from my side. I'm available for your for any questions, and also please expect that in following ones there will be more information about the results of our project. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Marcin. There is already a question to you in the chat, which is coming from Paul, who asked if your exercises will be conducted in English or in the national languages.
Yes. In English, certainly in English. There will be 2 exercises, one in Poland and one in Greece. But certainly there will be a possibility to take part in English as well. But I'm not sure if the question is only about the exercises, because we call the exercises this large-scale events, or maybe it's about the training program. So, but both training program also will be available in English and other languages as well.
Okay, so maybe just as a reminder to everyone, if you have any questions to the speakers, you can use the chat. And always being aware a bit of time, of course, you can contact the speakers afterwards by email as well, and the projects, and we will share the presentations and so on. Having said that, I will hand over to our last project today, PROSECUW, which will be presented by Panayiota Constanti, yeah, who is a senior project manager at CSI.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you, SOAR Project and the organizers for this great online event. I think it's very much necessary in order to put everyone on the same page and create even more powerful collaborations among us for this one goal and one vision I'm sure we all have. So my name is Panayiota Constanti. I'm the Senior Project Manager at the Center for Social Innovation and the PROSECUW Project Coordinator in Cyprus. So next slide, please. Thank you. So just a few words about what PROSECUW is. The aim and objectives of our project is to enhance the protection and place of worship by setting up collaboration and cooperation among all the directly involved stakeholders, public authorities, religious leaders, civil society actors, and the local communities in order to create awareness among them, train them, and as a result, develop their capacity to counteract radicalization. The main target groups of the project are local law enforcement and security agents, public authorities, decision makers, religious leaders, the CSO community, and local communities. I would like to present the partnership here. As I said before, the Center for Social Innovation in Cyprus is the project coordinator of PROSECUW. And then we have Academy Klausenhof from Germany, Lusofona University from Portugal, the Center for Ecumenical, Missiological, and Environmental Studies from Greece, and the Research and Education in Social Empowerment and Transformation from Cyprus again. I'm going to present you here 3 of the 4 main deliverables of our project. 3 are already concluded and we're on the way for the 4th one. First of all, we had our documentary, a specialized educational training course and Train the Trainer, the PROSECUW Hub, and a best practice manual and policy recommendations. So when it comes to our first deliverable, our documentary, deliverable that we're very proud and touched by the result, part of the PROSECUW activities was to deliver a documentary when it comes to protection of places of worship. So the documentary is called The Divinity of Oneness. It's a 50-minute searing expose of the stories shared by victims of such crimes, hate, terrorism, and etc., including the 4 countries involved in the project. It somehow provides answers to some key matters of why and how there is an escalating destruction of sacred sites and places of worship. And actually, we're trying to figure out what is required to establish a society of harmony, of respect, of acceptance when it comes to diversity of religions. So we used a multi-angle approach. So we brought together different people from different backgrounds, intellectual, spiritual, civic, theological. And we tried to trigger a journey of self-reflection, critical thought, and open-heartedness. So the documentary was finished at the past summer, and it was premiered at the 17th International Documentary Festival here in Cyprus. We included a post-screening panel discussion and a networking event. We had more than 180 audience at the premiere, which was a great success for us. And this documentary will be included in the next deliverables that we're going to offer to our target groups, which is the trainer and a training series and the train the trainer. So before you saw some pictures from the premiere, and here I'm going to show you the trailer of the documentary and talk a bit more about the documentary after that.
Στην εκκλησία του Διονυσίου Αεροπαγίτου βρέθηκε εκρηκτικός μηχανισμός με στόχο όχι τόσο τη ζημιά στο κτίριο, αλλά το θάνατο μεγάλου αριθμού πιστών.
Πάρα πολλές φορές άκουσα την κουβέντα «Α, τι είσαστε μάρνετε, σε αρέσει?»
They ran after him after school and they took knife on him and they told him even you change your religion or we will attack you.
I do feel that there is a distinction when I'm saying I'm Armenian.
Do it what you are good, you are doing, but don't say to others that your religion is bad, like that thing. We don't have right.
Ποιος Θεός, ποιος Χριστός λέει να πολεμάμε ένας τον άλλο?
Thank you so much for watching. Dear Gloria, if you can put back the PowerPoint. Thank you. I just wanted to say that the PROSECUW documentary is now premiering in all the partner countries around Europe. And from December onwards, it's going to be also available for free on YouTube. We're going to be sharing it on our social media, and each one of you can watch the full documentary there and also share it with your network. So apart from the documentary, we also prepared and developed a specialized educational training course, which is going to be part of the Train the Trainer activity. We're going to start having from January 2023 for all of our stakeholders and target groups. This course includes 4 main modules in order to understand the terms, policies, practices, and safety concerns, and also develops the skills and knowledge of our target groups and stakeholders when it comes to how they can resolve and cooperate better to actually protect places of worship, but also create synergies among them to protect these places of worship. So we have module 1, understanding and defining the terms, module 2, existing policies and best practices, module 3, creating hubs and synergies, and module 4, building confidence and strengthening communities. You can find this training course online for free at our official website, which is also displayed here, PROSECUW.eu. And as I said before, we're gonna start implementing the Train the Trainer activity for the months January, February, March, in order to train as many people and as many institutions as possible when it comes to protecting the community and places of worship. And the deliverable 3 is something very important, we believe. It's the PROSECUW Hub. It's actually a local European, a cross-sectoral network that we're actually now developing online. It will facilitate the cooperation, the joint work of various specialists and stakeholders among not only the 4 European countries of PROSECUW, but at a pan-European level. We tend through this hub to share knowledge, to produce knowledge, to create awareness, to organize meetings among the stakeholders and target groups that are going to be inside the hub. We want to have in the hub various backgrounds from researchers, NGOs, the public authorities, policymakers, and any other interested sector or stakeholder who wish to collaborate for the protection of places of worship. You can find the hub as well on the official website of PROSECUW. It is now running for the last week. It's our first testing, and we're going to be starting our contacts with our stakeholders and target groups from next week in order to invite them to the hub and start creating these synergies. And of course, you're all welcome, you with your networks, to join this hub and make it as dynamic and powerful as possible for this one mission we have to protect our community. And here we are going to present some additional activities and results we have, mainly dissemination, promoting the project, having the project represented through academic conferences. We also, one of the main activities that we do in order to create awareness about the project and disseminate it is organizing press conferences. Each time we have a transnational partner meeting, we find it a great idea and a very effective way to create awareness to the public that the project is there, visiting the specific country, having this partner meeting, but also meeting with stakeholders face-to-face with target groups, and having a press conference for the media in order to establish our presence and promote our work in each country. So you can see here some photos from the press conferences in Cyprus and Greece so far. They reached the news, the national news of the countries. You can also see our participation in 2 very important and big academic conferences, presenting the project and also publishing an academic journal when it comes to the work of the project. We also have a targeted social media campaign. We prepared 64 weekly boosted posts that we publish in all our social media, and this also created a very big awareness for the project through this kind of dissemination, this strategy that we follow. And next. And here I'm going to close with our efforts and goals towards sustainability. The main goal of our project is to convince our stakeholders and the other actors to adopt the method that we use, actually focusing on awareness and training in this project. And the efforts are focusing on exploiting our extended network, on showcasing our PROSECUW in possible beneficiaries. We identify some specific institutions in order to communicate with them and engage them. Appropriate communication, of course, with the decision makers through our holistic approach. And lastly, a particular focus to adopt these tools from specific institutions, such as ministries of justice, municipalities, and the main religious leaders in each country. So the hub, the training course, and the documentary are the main tools to achieve the above. And before closing, I would like to announce as well that yesterday we decided on our final conference. It's going to happen on the 21st of April, 2023. We're going to be having two main panels, one panel with all the project coordinators of the Protect project. So I'm publicly inviting you to come to the conference. Of course, I'm going to be in contact with each and every one of you, sharing an official invitation. We have already spoken with Protector, with Shield project, with SOAR, and we're going to continue our communication. You're free to come to the conference to speak about your projects. We are also going to be having 3 workshops. One security oriented, where police from all the countries can come and interact among each other and propose different ways of collaboration. The second workshop will focus on synergies and collaborations. We're going to present the hub, and any one of you can also present their ways of how to collaborate better. And the third workshop is going to focus on hands-on products. So projects that have products, architectural products, can present their products there, and we can further disseminate the products to all the interested stakeholders. So this is from me for now. Thank you for listening to me, and I'm really looking forward to collaborate with every one of you, and of course to see everyone to the final conference in April. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Panayiota. Your documentary is already on my to watch list now. Okay, so this was all 5 projects of today presented, and now I will share my screen for a quick sli.do session with the audience. Let me just share and click here. So we would go back to sli.do. So you just have to scan the QR code if you're not still online. So what we have done is we have asked the different speakers if they have any specific questions to ask to the audience, and so it's just a few questions that come now, just so it's good to know, when you speak online especially, and you don't really get a feeling for the audience, so to see how it was perceived as well. So this is obviously a question for the faith leaders, of which we didn't have so many, I think, in the first sli.do. Now 11 answered. Do you consider your religious site a safe place? Yes, partially. And 17% totally. And thank God nobody says no. And move on to the next question. Did these sister projects capture any insights to improve the safety and security of your place of worship? So this is again a question that is mainly for the faith leaders in the audience. Yes, all of the projects. Thank you. Thank you. And now 10 people answered, and it's still at 100% yes, all of the projects. I think this is really good to know for the European Commission as well, to fund projects that really make a difference. Yeah. The next question came from Kaashif about the SOAR project. So has the work of SOAR, SOAR and the sister project, sorry, it comes from all that, increase your awareness of the concept of security by design? I mean, many people might not know security by design and what does it involve and so on. And the question is, have you learned more about this topic? Are you going to your place of worship with a different eye now? Okay, so 92% totally and 8% partially. Would you consider testing the effectiveness of the Protector surveillance monitoring system? So this is specifically on the Protector project. So 75% are with yes, some are not sure. 70-30. We have 25 people in the chat, but only 12 are on the sli.do. So if you still like to join the sli.do, there is still the QR code, which brings you directly to the question if you just scan it with your phone. Okay. Okay, still somebody coming in. 15. I move to the next question. Do you consider the PROSECUW results useful? Okay, so we have 11 saying yes. 13. And this comes with a follow-up question. So if you answered yes to the previous question, how would you integrate the products and services developed by PROSECUW to your project activities, but also to wider local activities as institutions? This is the check if you have listened to the PROSECUW presentation and you sort of noted down, this is interesting for me or that, and yeah. 5 are typing, use the trainings. Yeah. The documentary, video as a tool. Yeah, I will watch the documentary also for sure. Involve our side users, yes. And attend the final conference. Wow, okay. Awareness raising and PRO. Documentary and projector. Okay. So you want to make your own documentary in Protector? Maybe, if I understand this right.
No, we can use that one. It's really good as it is. Thank you.
Okay, somebody's still typing. Involve schools. And there's still somebody typing, so I will wait until the last person is in this. Oh, there are 2 typing. Okay, so and then it gets mixed up, and I don't know which one was the last one. The video content. Okay. Okay, I move to the next question. Any additional actions you would suggest to the sister projects when creating awareness on the protection and security of places of worship? So any suggestions, comments, anything we did not cover in these 5 projects? Or anything we should do more? Storytelling, yes. Sharing results. It's always difficult to really share the results with everybody on the ground, no? I mean, I find it, the language also, that you have to translate it into the languages as well, and not have it only in English. Additional common events. Yeah, series of documentaries. Working with all faiths. Combine into one document. That's an interesting one. Yeah, maybe this would be something for Koralia to pick up if the European Commission wants to look at all results and or give it to the JRC, who is, I think, working on one book at the moment, but they're very much finished. Oh my God, there's so many answers now. Promote beyond Europe, combine risk analysis, use of videos. Needed doc as soon as possible. Share real security events, combine risk analysis. Join the protected book. Collaborative paper, yeah, could be a collaborative paper with the main results, maybe also to have this one.
I just really wanted to say many thanks for the great ideas, guys, and that was the reason I put these questions actually to brainstorm and find creative ways to move this further. So thank you so much. We're gonna think about everything and start making actions.
Thank you. Co-organize trainings, use heritage networks. Blue Shield. No. Okay, so nobody else is typing anymore, so I change to the next slide. Considering the project's outcomes, would a clear set of standards on security by design implementation at national or EU level for places of worship be beneficial? I hope nobody's answering no. Sorry. Both at national and EU, not sure. Then I would be intrigued if who answered no or not sure, you don't need standards for your work, or I don't know if you want to say something or write it in the chat, or I'm too intimidating now. Because in these series of webinars, we discussed standards, like which kind of standards do we need and what would help the practitioners. So maybe if we don't, if some think we don't need any, that would be interesting to know why. Okay, and move on. And that was it. So I thank you very much for filling in the Slido, and I would hand over to our final speaker, Koralia Kontou, from the European Commission, who is the project officer of all our projects, I understand. And
from Vector.
Okay, but I can, if you like, I can stop sharing so we can actually see you in live size.
Well, hello from my side. I'm really happy, enthusiastic, delighted that I see that an initial idea that we had with some projects to combine and make a synergy between among all the Protect projects is finally coming, is materialized actually, it's coming to an end. The most important stuff for us is that one of the most sensitive chords of the European Commission, the European Union problems, which is the protection of public spaces and more specifically the protection of places of worship attacked by many terrorists in recent years, has been addressed by all of you in a different sense, with different manners, with different tools, and with different ideas. I really like the last part, which was the questions and the brainstorming by all of you, which was live, and you brought on the table several ideas that actually in one collaborative document would be useful, or something similar would be very useful, just to address all the different manners that you have used throughout these 2 years of implementation. Well, the interaction that I was expecting is very active, and I'm happy for that. You really kept the contacts. You used the conference we had in September, and I'm really sure that you're going to continue these synergies via participating in others' workshops, trainings, final conferences, documentaries, demonstration, yes, the documentary showings. Please continue inviting the other projects to your events and try to show what is, try to actually show that there is another part of protection of worship, protection of places of worship. Because the thing is that each and every of these different projects that we have seen today is addressing a different part of the protection, and this is why we had initially evaluated and awarded EU. It's not all of them the same thing. So if you use these meetings in finding out the differences among you, you will definitely create, let's say, a big team after the end of the project that can make miracles in the real society outside of the European Commission funding, of course. And the success is exactly this one: the collectivity, the synergies, the dissemination of the results after the end of the project. And for those of you that have attended the workshop that I was coordinating in September, this is called sustainability of the project, and this is our main target, which actually is starting getting many bonus in the evaluation process after the 2021 call projects. Sorry. Yes, I've seen that the dissemination and sustainability is exactly that. If I could put a title in this meeting, that would be the one. Dissemination and synergies and sustainability, and I'm really proud of all of you, especially for the project that I am the project officer, but also protector. I have heard a lot, and we have discussed in the meetings within the Commission, and we are really happy that you are evolving yourself very quickly, that you are escalate yourself, and the quality results are super high. We didn't expect that in the beginning to be that good. You know, it is too good to be true sometimes, and we are happy for that. Well, yeah, I'm speechless.
Thank you very much, Koralia, for these words. I think they make us all uplifting and feel really good. And with this, I would like to end this webinar. We will put the recording online and also share with you the presentation slides and everything. And thank you again for joining and for these fruitful 2 hours. And I hope we continue to collaborate. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you very much.